One child was murdered just 12 years after their NBA father was shot and killed.
It's like 12 years ago, all over again, a murder.
While another claims NBA star James Harden paid people to rob him.
This was a confrontation about a Facebook post for Mr. James Harden, and the evidence will show that.
From squandering their dad's money to becoming successful in their careers, let's break down how the children of dead NBA stars turned out. Moses Malone Jr. When three-time NBA MVP Moses Malone Sr. died on September 13, 2015, at the age of 60, from hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. His son, Moses Malone Jr., was already 36 years old and had long since established his own identity separate from his Hall of Fame father. But that identity would soon be tested in ways he never could have imagined. Moses Malone Jr., born on December 1, 1979 in Houston, Texas, had lived his entire life in the shadow of basketball royalty. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches and weighing 220 pounds, he played as a guard and had his own respectable basketball journey. His college career included stints at the University of Houston, Texas Tech, and South Carolina State University, averaging 15.5 points per game. Though he went undrafted in the 2003 NBA draft, he maintained a relatively private life, focusing on family and business ventures. But on June 25, 2016, Moses Malone Jr.'s life took a dramatic and violent turn. He was assaulted and robbed outside V Live, an after-hours strip club on Richmond Avenue in Houston, Texas. The attack occurred around 2 a.m. when he was confronted by a group of men who beat him and stole jewelry valued at thousands of dollars, including items at gunpoint. What made this attack particularly shocking was Malone Jr.'s claim about its motivation. He alleged the attack stemmed from a critical Facebook post he made the night before, accusing Houston Rockets star James Harden of overcharging $249 for his youth basketball camp, which he said excluded inner-city kids. According to Malone Jr., one assailant reportedly referenced the post during the attack, and he received a threatening text beforehand.
This was not a random robbery. This wasn't some guy that just came up to me and ran into the street. This was a confrontation about a Facebook post for Mr. James Harden, and the evidence will show that.
4 men were arrested and charged with aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. Darian Blount, the club's security manager and lead bouncer, Kevin Buta, Oscar Wattell, and Derek Moore. But the story took an even more sensational turn when in May 2017, Malone Jr. amended a civil lawsuit against the club to include Harden, alleging he orchestrated the attack and paid Blount $20,000 to carry it out as retaliation for the post.
James Harden had paid a sum of about $20,000 to Darian Blount to carry out the attack on Moses Malone Jr.
The legal proceedings were intense and drawn out. In December 2017, Darian Blount was convicted of aggravated assault and sentenced to 35 years in prison by a Harris County jury. Malone Jr. testified against Blount, describing the beating and the Facebook post's role. However, the civil case against James Harden proved more challenging. Harden denied involvement, calling the claims baseless. In 2020, a trial court granted summary judgment for Harden, dismissing all claims due to insufficient evidence. Malone Jr. appealed, but on March 17, 2022, the Texas First Court of Appeals affirmed the decision, ruling no genuine issue of material fact existed. Throughout this ordeal, Moses Malone Jr. was adamant that his motivation wasn't financial.
I don't need the money. Let's get something straight. I don't need the money.
He emphasized repeatedly that his father didn't die poor and that he had substantial financial resources, making this about principle rather than profit.
This is not about money. You cannot pay me enough money to hush my mouth and go away.
As of 2025, Moses Malone Jr. appears to lead a private life, with no major public appearances or news since the 2022 lawsuit appeal. He is likely still based in the Houston area, given his roots and family ties. Lorenzen Wright's children. The murder of Lorenzen Wright, the former NBA player who was shot to death in 2010, created one of the most complex and heartbreaking family situations in sports history. What makes this case particularly devastating is that the children lost not just their father to violence, but later discovered that their own mother was involved in orchestrating his murder. Lorenzen Wright disappeared on July 18, 2010, after visiting his ex-wife Shara and their children at her home in Collierville, Tennessee. During a 911 call from his phone that night, night. Gunshots were heard, but the call was not traced effectively at the time. His body was discovered 10 days later on July 28, 2010, in a swampy, wooded field in southeast Memphis, riddled with multiple bullet wounds. The couple had 6 children together: Lorenzen Jr., Lauren, twin boys Lamar and Shamar, Sophia, and Lawson. A daughter named Sierra had died of sudden infant death syndrome. At the time of Wright's death, the twins Lamar and Shamar were just 10 years old, and the family faced intense public scrutiny as the case remained unsolved for years. The breakthrough in the case came in 2017, but it brought devastating news for the children. Their mother, Shara Wright, along with church deacon Billy Ray Turner, was indicted for first-degree murder. The investigation revealed that Shara had orchestrated a murder-for-hire plot, recruiting her cousin Jimmy Martin and Turner to carry it out. The motive was tied to financial stress, domestic abuse allegations, and a $1 million life insurance policy on Wright, which Shara collected after his death.
Today, Shara Wright, we advanced her case. It was obviously set for trial in September. After speaking with the attorneys and in the case, she desired to change her plea and she entered a guilty plea today. She pled guilty to facilitation to commit first-degree murder, admitting that she had a role in the first-degree murder of Lorenzen Wright.
In July 2019, Shara Wright pleaded guilty to facilitation of first-degree murder and was sentenced to 30 years in prison, with eligibility for parole after serving 30% of her term. Billy Ray Turner was convicted in March 2022 and sentenced to life plus 25 years. The impact on the children was profound and complex. The murder disrupted the children's lives, leaving them without both parents after Shara's 2017 arrest and 2019 conviction. Shara reportedly spent the $1 million insurance payout within 10 months, leading to financial instability. Paternal grandmother Deborah Marion fought for custody of the 4 minor children in 2017. The children's reactions to their mother's involvement varied dramatically. Some, including twins Lamar and Shamar, publicly supported their mother, believing her innocent and suspecting more to the story, which strained relations with their grandmother Marion. The children dealt with trauma in varied ways. Older siblings like Lauren took on parental roles for younger ones, while the twins channeled grief into basketball. As of mid-2025, the children have largely maintained private lives, with the twins being the most visible due to their basketball careers. Lamar and Shamar completed their collegiate stints at SIUE, where Shamar set program records in scoring and games played during the 2023-24 season. Lorenzen Jr. remains active in coaching and fitness, while Lauren and Sophia are based in California, with Lauren working in nursing. The family continues to navigate the complex aftermath, with some maintaining loyalty to Shara despite her incarceration. Shara's parole was denied in May 2022, despite support from some children. Tragically, the family faced another devastating loss when Greta Frierson, who was Lorenzen Wright's goddaughter, was fatally shot in April 2022 in Oxford, Mississippi.
It's like 12 years ago, all over again, a murder. Somebody murdered somebody for nothing.
Though a DNA paternity test confirmed that Wright was not her biological parent, Wright chose to embrace her fully as his daughter. Her boyfriend, Justin Morris, was charged with murder and held on $1 million bond. Hank Gathers' son. Eric Hank Gathers Jr. died on March 4, 1990, at the age of 23 during a West Coast Conference Tournament semifinal game against Portland. He collapsed on the court after completing an alley-oop dunk, suffering from hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a condition where the heart muscle thickens abnormally. His death sent shockwaves through the basketball world, but nowhere was the impact felt more profoundly than by his young son, Aaron. Aaron Kevin Crump was born on May 15, 1983, when Gathers was 16 years old. His mother is Marva Crump, Gathers' girlfriend at the time. The couple was not married. Aaron was 6 years old at the time of his father's death and has spent the past 30-plus years searching for peace of mind and understanding about the father he barely knew. Aaron's earliest major memory was of his father's death. He was asleep when his grandmother woke him, and he saw his mother crying while watching the news on TV. Confused and detached as a child, Aaron cried because others were, but he didn't fully process the grief until decades later. After Hank's death, Aaron's family moved from North Philadelphia to Cheltenham, Pennsylvania for a fresh start. Growing up in the shadow of his father's fame was complicated. Aaron felt both pride and resentment, as people in Philadelphia revered Hank as a local hero from Dobbins Tech High School. But Aaron saw him as an absentee figure he missed dearly. The Gathers family filed a $32.5 million wrongful death lawsuit against LMU, Coach Paul Westhead, team doctors, and others, alleging negligence in handling Hank's condition. Settlements were reached, totaling around $2.4 million, with Aaron getting approximately $1.5 million million upon turning 18. However, the sudden wealth at age 18, without strong guidance, led to poor decisions. Coming from a projects background, Aaron squandered the money on drugs, alcohol, partying, and associating with the wrong crowd. Aaron's grief, buried for years, contributed to a downward spiral. He pleaded guilty to aggravated assault with a weapon and served 5 years in Rockview State Prison, Pennsylvania, entering around 2010. This separated him from his newborn daughter, Deja, 4 months old at the time, which he described as heartbreaking. Prison was a turning point. He reflected on his mistakes, worked on personal growth, and vowed not to return. His grief resurfaced intensely in 2020 after Kobe Bryant's death, prompting 3 days of crying and finally processing his father's loss. This emotional breakthrough marked the beginning of his true healing process. By his early 30s, Aaron had turned his life around. In 2014, he founded the nonprofit Hank Gathers Legacy Group to mentor youth through basketball, emphasizing hard work, dedication, and avoiding pitfalls like his own. As of 2020, age 36, Aaron was employed at 2 Philadelphia nonprofits, Mount Airy Community Development Corps and Philadelphia Youth Basketball. Aaron is a devoted father to his daughter Deja, born around 2006 to 2007, whom he calls his jewel. He shares stories of her birth and regrets missing her early years due to prison, but prioritizes being a positive role model. He maintains relationships with Hank's former teammates, who express pride in his transformation. Kobe Bryant's daughters. The tragic death of Kobe Bryant on January 26, 2020, in a helicopter crash that also claimed the life of his daughter Gianna, left behind his wife Vanessa and 3 surviving daughters, Natalia, Bianca, and Capri. Each of these young women has navigated the enormous loss while carrying forward their father's legacy in their own unique ways. Natalia Bryant, born on January 19, 2003, is the eldest surviving daughter. Following her father's death, she has maintained a relatively private life while pursuing education, modeling, and film-related interests. She graduated from Sage Hill High School in Newport Beach, California in June 2021, where she excelled in volleyball, playing at a competitive level and serving as team captain during her senior year. In February 2021, at age 18, Natalia signed with IMG Models, a major modeling agency, marking her entry into the fashion industry. She debuted on the cover of Teen Vogue in September 2021, where she opened up about honoring her father's memory and her aspirations in fashion and film. Since then, she has modeled for brands and appeared in campaigns, including a notable Victoria's Secret campaign in 2024. Educationally, Natalia enrolled at the University of Southern California, USC, in 2021, majoring in film at the School of Cinematic Arts. On May 17, 2025, she graduated cum laude with a degree in film, earning praise from celebrities like Jennifer Garner, Kate Hudson, and Taylor Swift. During the ceremony, she honored her father by incorporating his Nike sheath logo and Mamba mentality on her graduation sash. Post-graduation, Natalia revealed aspirations in film production or directing, crediting her mother for her fashion sense and overall support. The Bryant family, led by Vanessa, has channeled grief into philanthropy through the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation, originally the Mamba Sports Foundation, renamed in February 2020 to honor Kobe and Gianna. The family has also been involved in seeking justice and closure. In February 2023, Vanessa secured a $28.85 million settlement from Los Angeles County over leaked crash photos. Statues of Kobe and Gianna were unveiled, including one at Crypto.com Arena in August 2024 and another in February 2024. The family maintains a close unit, with Vanessa prioritizing the girls' well-being. They reside in Newport Beach, attending Catholic church and focusing on healing while ensuring that Kobe and Gianna's legacy continues to inspire young athletes around the world. Manute Bol's children. When Manute Bol, the Sudanese-American NBA player and humanitarian, passed away on June 19, 2010, from kidney failure and complications related to Stevens-Johnson syndrome, he left behind a complex family structure that reflected both his cultural heritage and the challenges of a life split between Sudan and America. The 7'7" center had 10 children from 2 marriages, 6 children with his first wife, Atong Bol, and 4 with his second wife, Ajak Kwag. The most publicly visible of Manute's children is Bol Bol, born November 16, 1999, who has built a professional NBA career that mirrors his father's in height, listed at 7'3". Born in Khartoum, Sudan, amid civil war turmoil, his family fled as refugees to Egypt in 2001 and then to the U.S. in 2002, settling in Connecticut and later Olathe, Kansas. Bol started basketball at age 4, encouraged by his father. Bol Bol's high school career took him through multiple schools due to transfers and eligibility issues: Blue Valley Northwest, Kansas; Bishop Meade, Kansas; Mater Dei, California; and Findlay Prep, Nevada. He averaged impressive stats such as 20.4 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 2.4 blocks per game in his senior year at Findlay, earning USA Today All-USA second-team honors. At Oregon, Bull played only 9 games as a freshman, averaging 21 points, 9.6 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks per game, with a season-high 32 points against Texas Southern. A stress fracture in his left foot ended his season, but he declared for the NBA draft. Drafted 44th overall by the Miami Heat in 2019, Bull was immediately traded to the Denver Nuggets. Early years were hampered by injuries, including foot surgery in 2021, limiting him to sporadic appearances. In 2022, he was traded to the Orlando Magic, where he had a breakout 2022-23 season, playing 70 games and averaging 9.1 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks. He signed with the Phoenix Suns in 2023 on a one-year deal, contributing as a bench player with skills in shooting and defense. Bull has honored his father's humanitarian legacy. In April 2023, while with Orlando, he hosted refugee children from Congo and Sudan at a Magic game, partnering with the UN Refugee Agency to honor Manut's efforts. This gesture perfectly encapsulated how he carries forward not just his father's basketball talent, but also his commitment to helping those in need. Manut Bol, born December 19, 1989, was the son from Manut's first marriage. He was already in college when his father died, playing basketball at Southern University as a 6'9" center/power forward. He graduated in 2013 and pursued a professional career overseas, playing in the United Kingdom and representing the South Sudan national team in international competitions. By the late 2010s, Manut transitioned to coaching. As of January 2024, he was assisting with the girls' basketball program at Hasbrook Heights High School in New Jersey. The family's story reflects the broader challenges of the Sudanese diaspora. After Manut's death, his widow Ajok issued statements about his role in popularizing basketball in South Sudan, noting its growth post-independence 2011. The family supports initiatives like the Manut Bol School for Education in Sudan. Reggie Lewis's children. Reggie Lewis, the Boston Celtics captain and NBA All-Star, died tragically on July 27, 1993, at the age of 27 after collapsing during a light off-season workout at Brandeis University. The official autopsy determined the cause as hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a genetic heart condition that thickens the heart muscle. His death sparked significant controversy and medical debates, but what remained constant was the devastating impact on his young family. Reggie Lewis and his wife Donna Harris Lewis, whom he met at Northeastern University and married in 1991, had 2 children. Lewis died while Donna was pregnant with their second child, leaving her to raise them alone. The family remained in the Boston area, where Donna focused on preserving Reggie's legacy through philanthropy, while homeschooling the children and shielding them from public scrutiny amid the controversies. Reggie Lewis Jr., born November 1992, was about 8 months old when his father died. Born in Baltimore, but raised primarily in Boston, he grew up in a close-knit family environment shaped by his mother's determination to honor Reggie's memory. Donna homeschooled him and his sister, serving as what she calls the chief officer of everything in their education and upbringing. Reggie Jr. showed interest in basketball, following in his father's footsteps. He played at high school level and pursued college basketball, with reports indicating he played at Texas Christian University, TCU, though he did not reach the professional level like his father. After college, he transitioned away from playing, but remained connected to sports through coaching and business ventures. Now in his early 30s, Reggie Jr. describes himself as a preacher, educator, and disciple of Christ. He is involved in ministry work, emphasizing faith in his public persona. He has been active in the Reggie Lewis Foundation, co-presenting donations and events with his mother, such as the 2019 Boston Arts Academy gift of $500,000. Reggiana Lewis, born approximately February 1994, was born approximately 6 to 7 months after her father's death. One child was murdered just 12 years after NBA father was shot and killed, while another claims NBA star James Harden people to rob him. From squandering their dad's money to be successful in their careers, let's break down how the children NBA stars turned out. Moses Malone Jr. When 3-time NBA Moses Malone Sr. died on September 13, 2015, at the age of 60, from atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. His son, Moses Malone Jr., already 36 years old, and had long since established an identity separate from his Hall of Fame. But that identity would soon be tested in ways he never imagined. Moses Malone Jr., born on December 1, 1979 in Houston, Texas, his entire life in the shadow of basketball royalty. Standing at 5 inches and 220 pounds, played as a guard and had his own respectable basketball journey. His college career included stints at the University of Houston, Texas Tech, and South University, averaging 55 points per game. Though he was drafted in the 2000 draft, he maintained a relatively private life, focusing on family and business. But on June 25, 2016, Moses Malone Jr. life took a dramatic turn. He was outside V Live, an after-hours strip club in Houston, Texas. The attack occurred around 2 a.m. when he was confronted by a group of men who beat jewelry valued at thousands of dollars in at gunpoint. This attack, particularly shocking, was Malone Jr.'s claim about its motivation. He alleged the attack a critical Facebook post he made the night before. Houston Rockets star James Harden of overcharging $2 for his youth basketball camp, which he said city kids. Malone Jr., one assailant reportedly referenced the post attack, and he received a threatening text. 4 men were arrested, charged with aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. Darian Blunt, the club's security manager and lead bouncer, Kevin Buta, Oscar Wattell, and Derek Moore. But the story even more turn when in May 2018, Malone Jr. amended a civil lawsuit against the club to include alleging he orchestrated the attack and paid Blount $20,000 to carry as retaliation for the post. The legal proceedings were intense and drawn out. In December 2017, Darian Blount was convicted of aggravated assault and sentenced to 35 years in prison by a jury. Malone Jr. testified against Blount, disputing and the Facebook post's role. However, the civil case against James Harden proved more challenging, denied involvement, calling the claim baseless. In 2020, a trial court granted summary judgment for Harden, dismissing all claims due to insufficient evidence. Malone Jr. On March 17, 2022, the Texas Court of Appeals affirmed the decision, ruling no material fact existed. Throughout this ordeal, Moses Malone was adamant that his motivation wasn't financial. He emphasized repeatedly his father didn't die poor and that he had substantial resources, making this about principle rather than profit. As of 2025, Malone Jr. appears to lead a life, with no major public appearances or news since the